I think because, for me personally, why I decided to, become, is because I think one of the most important things as a dancer is to explore as many styles as you can. Because before I knew about contemporary, because contemporary and ballet are my favorite now, but that's not how I started. So, and imagine if I'd never ever explored them and been like, oh, I might want to try these. I'd have never known how much I enjoyed it. So I think one of the most important things is to try as many, because obviously I really enjoyed, doing the Chinese dance, and I would never have done it if I didn't think it was important to understand the different foundations of where dance comes from in different cultures and stuff, because then you can learn where your sort of training has come from. Because I think that a lot of styles like Chinese dance have influenced contemporary dance, or vice versa, and it's important to know that, because the technique is always important from whatever style you do, because they can all incorporate into each other. So I think it's really important to try many different styles.
Definitely. No, I definitely think too that it's good to try different styles and be able to do different things. I'll be honest with you. when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, it'll keep me dancing. That's in my head. I was like, I know it's not something I've usually done, but it'll keep me dancing. Yeah. I'll enjoy something new, see how I do, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's opened my mind to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
If I was like a person that wasn't really into dancing or didn't like, I think the main thing that attracted me to it is like fitness things. So if it was, I tried loads of different things, and like gym, like a lot of people now are looking for alternative fitness regimes instead of going to the gym and going treadmilling or running and all the basic things because people don't like it. So anything new that pops up, they're like, ooh, that looks good, I'll give it a go. Because if you put fitness on it, anyone will do it. Yeah. But if you put dance, people go, oh well, I'm not really a dancer.
Yeah.
So it's like a roller coaster then of, oh, actually maybe I do like dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I do like this.
I think Debbie was so before we got the email from Lisa's auntie.
Yes, that's it.
And I was like, it was like just before we'd start summer, we'd done all our modules and stuff, and I had a one-to-one with Debbie, and she was like, you should do it. She was like, I think you'd really enjoy it, and I was like, yeah, well, why wouldn't I enjoy it? I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it, it's great. So
I just wanted to keep moving. I was like, I want to keep moving. I want to come in, and when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll enjoy it. I feel like I've got more control of my arms since doing the workshop.
Yeah.
Mainly because whenever I'm improvising, I always feel like my arms are just flapping around.
Yeah.
But since we've been doing, the martial arts, the hands and like the circles, now I'm dancing, I feel like I'm finishing off my movements with my arms better. Probably not like 100%, I need more training, but I do feel like I'm finishing off my movement, and I'm more, and I really like the way that the hands are in my improv, because I can actually feel what I'm doing with them instead of just like flap.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely thinking more about my arms than I used to. So I used to, kind of forget about my arms completely, and they would just flail about, hang about, not really do much. So it definitely had a lot more thought on where my arms tied in with the movement and how I connected it with the movement, and also the visualization of energy as well. That was I felt that was more apparent to me this time than when I very first did the improv, for example. and not just energy like through my hands, like through my space, through the body, if I was passing it through my body and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like I feel like my presence in my movement is better. So like you said, energy. Like I feel like because I know what I'm doing with my arms, and I feel like in my mind I've got that conscious feel the floor, and I feel like I've incorporated my breath into it more, like at the beginning where I like calmly go into it instead of just like and begin and just start flopping around everywhere. I feel like my presence is so much more with it.
I've learned a lot about more how to like hold myself, you know, and a new way of moving that's not, you know, that's influenced by Chinese dance, but not strictly you are only allowed to move as if you are doing just Chinese dance, you know. It's been more focused on, you know, how can Chinese dance influence me? So you give us like the basics, you know, like the hand movements and how we're supposed to like imagine. I'm trying to think of the words. Is it like the imagery of it? You know, like the reason you do this is because or like your hand's supposed to represent like sword, or you're supposed to be like defending, or now we're, you know, stuff like that. And I think it's the imagery is like stuck with me a bit more because now I'm imagining I'm like I've got a sword, I'm gonna chop Steph's head off, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that's pretty cool.
Mine's my coordination. I feel like my coordination has got a lot better since I've been doing it. So like the biggest thing as well is the intention for me. Instead of just moving your foot there because you're moving your foot there, having the actual intention of moving yourself into that space and where your arms are going and how you're going to finish, and then start. It's like, but you don't actually finish. It's like an intention to then move on to the next bit, and I think it just adds so much more to my movement than before. I feel like I look stronger when I'm moving, and I feel like I look more centered. Still got things to practice and do, but I feel like the idea in my head of the breath and relaxing my chest and moving my feet, and it's helped me a lot more than when I didn't know it. So
Strengthening as well. Definitely. I feel stronger for doing the classes, you know. A lot stronger because it is tough. You know, it's tough. It's hard work.
I really want that, a really long skirt and do that spinny thing. I really want to learn it because it looks so good.
And I think some of the other things that we've learned as well is a bit about Chinese culture. You know, it's not. I think what the stuff that I've taken away from this class is not all just about dance. We've learned a lot about Chinese culture and the reason why when you do some things in Chinese dance, and then also like that session where we were sat and we were watching some dancers, you know, and stuff like that. I think you learn a lot more than just a new dance style. It's a lot about culture, and that's I think a lot of some of the stuff that I've taken away from it as well.
Yeah, and like the
great.
difference between like the feminine and the masculine dance styles, and I like how, because in Western culture at the moment, it's very much of cutting that down, and even though that is a good thing, I do like that, but I do also like the very separate. Well, this is the feminine, this is the masculine, and it in showing in two different roles and the characters of it as well. Like I'm very much, my dance style is I like to tell a story through my dancing, and the pieces you show me is very much storytelling, and it just looks, it complements everything within the movement. So, yeah.
a lot of it was challenging.
I'm trying to think of specific things.
Yeah. I think
The walking. I've really struggled with the walking. Maybe
How you struggle with it?
mainly to relax into it. So like a lot of whenever I do any sort of walking anywhere, when I'm doing it in dance, I feel like I'm floating. I feel yeah, very balletic. Like I'm moving across the stage with it, like a proper. But with this, it's very down into your knees and walking in small steps and stuff. So relaxing into it, I really struggled to be able to do, and also not laugh. I found it very hard to kind of not feel self-conscious about myself, like thinking that I just look silly doing it, because when I watch it, I don't think it looks silly. I like it. It looks really nice in the way they do it, and as well, I think the costume adds to it, because you kind of see with the female walking, it looks very like all the skirts are quite tight. But when I'm doing it, I feel like I'm followed for so long. I shouldn't be walking in that small like steps. But I tried doing it at my friend's, and I ended up like just walking around the house, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm practicing."
I think definitely the interaction was a little bit
just
thrown in, you know, it wasn't really thought about, it was just me and Steph locked eyes and we were like,
energy.
so I definitely think that would need more work for sure, but then we haven't really done much.
Yeah, no.
Like even in these classes as well, we've been like getting the basics into us, and I'm sure with more classes, once you get the basics in, it'll be, you know, more about like interaction and stuff like that. But I feel like it's definitely a start for sure, especially the idea of attack and defense. You know, we never really played with that before as well, I think, so it's quite new, but
it was fun. And I thought we had a couple of moments, but like you said, it wasn't something. It kind of happened, and then we just kind of went on.
Yeah. Spur of the moment, 1 second thing.
The only thing I felt a little bit uncomfortable with is, so for instance, what I said about the hands, like I was using them because I really liked it, but there was like that little subconscious insecurity of, am I doing it right? Because it's a completely different dance. Like for instance, if I'm doing ballet and I'm in first, I know what movements I'm supposed to be doing, but because I don't fully understand it and fully know it, I'm like, well, I don't want to look stupid, like am I doing it right? Do I look like I'm trying to do that style of dance, or do I just look like I'm like sticking my little fingers up? But yeah, like is it that or is it that? But even though I did have that little subconscious, I still enjoyed playing with it. And after I got over my insecurities at the beginning, and also got into the music more, because the music changed very quickly. Like it was very much drama, and then it went really slow, and I was like, oh, I need to catch up with it. And but then by the end of it, I felt like I was really getting into the changes in the music. So they're the only kind of things that I felt a bit uncomfortable with at the beginning.
Yeah, music was tricky. At some point I thought, oh, it's finished, and it went silent for a bit, and I was like, I'll bring it to an end, and then it was like, I was like,
and dragon. But I liked it, and I was like, by the end of it, I was playing with like spins with my hands, and I was like, I really like this. This is really good.
I think the thing that I've struggled the most with it is the fact that it's a new style, you know, and it's the thing that I found the hardest is that it's something new, you know, and a lot of people like they stick to what they know and because they're comfortable there. So doing something new is uncomfortable and outside of their comfort zone, you know. And I think that's the thing that I just struggled with the most. It was obviously, you know, it's difficult, it's hard, and it requires a lot of strength. So if you don't have that, it's going to be harder, but you'll build it up and it'll get easier and easier. But I think the thing that I struggle the most with it is that it's just something new, you know. So it's always going to be difficult.
And it's like you get inside your own head sometimes, don't you? Because
Like gosh, I look like an idiot.
like I look, yeah, it's like I'm definitely not trained.
It's me doing a commercial.
My fingers are all over the place. And
You should see me in a commercial class. I look ridiculous. And I was doing it with Christos' work experience. He was doing commercial classes.
you did hip hop. I could not do.
Oh no, yeah, it was hip hop. Sorry.
I cannot do hip hop. I always say I don't have the swagger.
God, I looked ridiculous in those classes. Like I just looked like an idiot. But it was fun. I mean, I had fun with it, and that's what I think is the most important thing. I can't exactly say I'm going to go to another hip hop class and enjoy it or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it was fun, and if you can have fun with it, I think that's the important thing. Really, doesn't matter how silly I look.
I think the other thing I struggled with was feeling like I looked stable. So like I reflected back on the video, the piece of movement that you sent me that we did, the choreography. And I felt like I could get the movement, and I felt like I was doing really well at it. Then when I was looking back at the actual movement I was doing compared to like how you was doing it, I could see the stability in your training compared to mine. So like I was it was like getting to that point and having the strength to kind of slow it down to then carry on moving. I felt like I was very much like wobbling into it and then going back out of it. So the strength aspect I did struggle with. Even though I do feel like I'm quite a strong person, so it just proves how much strength you actually do need for it.
You're a lot stronger than before you started doing a lot of aerial, for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely stronger, but I think everything has its different muscles that you need to train to be able to get specific movements. And if, for instance, you're not training that actual movement, then you're not going to have the stability that you need.